beauty industry. Cool. So we're going to focus on beauty right now. Obviously, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we've seen some stellar brands and some really knockout hits in the last couple of years, especially, and ones that were homegrown at FounderMade. So our next panel is hosted by none other than Lexy Lebsack. I'm so sorry. Say that 10 times fast. She's a boss. She's been at Refinery for 5 years. Violet Gray before that, founding editor of Birdie Beauty. I'll let you take it away, sister.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. All right, so I'm going to be moderating how to land on the top shelf and stay there, which is basically our beauty buyer panel. So really top buyers right now. Okay, so I'm going to bring out the ladies. First, we have Allison Elliot, store director from Violet Gray. Oh, no. Hold one moment. Guys, hi. Okay, cool. Next we have Mary Guillen, buying manager from Cosbar. Kandice Hansen, beauty buyer from Revolve. Jackie Lee, head of beauty and personal care at Alibaba. And Elena Severin, director of brand partnerships at the Detox Market. I'm so excited to have all you ladies here. All right, so let's go down the line and give me just a couple lines about your background.
Hi, everybody. I'm Allison. I'm the store director of Violet Gray. I've been in the retail industry for about, I would say, like over 20 years. Before this, I was with Space NK. I've done many things such as like opening boutiques for NARS. I've been the regional for Space NK, and I have since landed at Violet Gray because it's really the best of the best in the industry.
Hi everyone, my name is Mary. I'm the buying manager at Cosbar. I'm pretty new to the company, but prior to Cosbar, I was at a beauty startup called Hush. It was very millennial focused. And prior to that, I was actually on the apparel side. I was at Forever 21 corporate, Sears corporate for a bit, and did a little bit of fashion design. But I'm super excited to be at Cosbar and to be diving into the luxury beauty world, and excited to be here today.
Hi everyone, I'm Kandice. I'm the beauty buyer for Revolve. I've actually been with the company my entire career, which is pretty special and rare. I started on the men's apparel side of our business and then spearheaded the launch of Revolve Beauty 3 years ago.
Hello everyone, my name is Jackie, and I'm the head for Alibaba Tmall Global, for beauty and personal care. And I've been doing the cross-border e-commerce for beauty and personal care for the past 4 years.
Hi, I'm Elena Severin. I'm the Director of Brand Partnerships for the Detox Market. I think I'm the senior member here. I've started 25 years ago with Estee Lauder Origins, but have recently, I have fellow Violets here as well. Worked at Violet Gray for 2.5 years as the Director of Retail before joining the Detox Market 2.5 years ago as the Director of Brand Partnerships.
Amazing. So Elena, I'm going to stay with you. And how has, in your opinion, the retail landscape changed, and where do you think that it's going?
So much has changed. I'm starting with content being a primary focus of what drives retail. Social media has definitely changed the landscape of how quickly information gets out there and how people can find information. And of course, in the industry that I'm in particular, clean beauty, green beauty, has become no longer a moment, but a movement. And so health is the new wealth, and it kind of encompasses everything from what we put inside our bodies to what we put outside our bodies.
Awesome. Allison, I'm going to give you the same question. How has retail changed?
Multi-channel is obviously where it's at right now. Being involved in e-com, retail, and social media is so important. Although right now, even though everybody kind of has their hands in all of those arenas, it's a little bit separated. And I think in the future, it's only going to become more cohesive and more one. All of those channels are going to be completely you'll be able to follow your client through all those multi-channels very easily. So to be involved with all of those right now and really find your mark in all of them is really important.
So this next one is for Kandice. You grew Revolve's beauty section from the ground up, and everyone here probably knows Revolve is huge on social media. How important is a brand's digital and social media presence, and how do brands create content that will attract buyers like you?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, obviously, we're a very social brand. That's what we do. Our brand marketing team really spearheaded using social media and influencer marketing as a strategy. And so for us, we're looking for brands that share that same ethos, because being online, you have to have that strong presence online, and it needs to align with what we do. We're millennial, Gen Z focused retailers, so we need brands that share that same imagery.
Yeah. What do you, when you take into account social media, when you're maybe meeting with a young brand, does follower count matter? Does like what they're posting between video and still images, sort of like what is like the perfect social thing?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like having a bigger following is great. It means people are looking for your brand online, but I think, as a small brand, it's of course hard to grow that following right off the bat. So having an imagery that aligns with us, like shelfies are huge for what our customer's doing. It goes along with her selfie. So I think brands who have that amazing content just really resonate with our girl.
And then do you look more for brands who are maybe sharing more like lifestyle-y things, or like really artistic photos of the product? Like what would the perfect grid look like?
More lifestyle for sure.
We are in an airport. Literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely lifestyle though, because we're a lifestyle retailer, so it's that full 360 package.
Cool. All right, so this next one is for Jackie. What should brands know about pitching or working with a Chinese corporation like Alibaba?
I think for everybody probably know for Alibaba as the wholesale or yellow page or the manufacturer references, but under Alibaba Group that we also have lots of the platform. It's C2C, B2C. So basically, as the same as for any other retailers that you have to. I think the first comes first is that when you engage into any of the foreign country, the first thing that you have to be aware of is making sure that you register your trademark, and not only under the international trademark circumstances, but it's better that to find an attorney in China who is specializing for the Chinese trademark as well. Just making sure that you are fully protected, in an international country.
Is doing your trademark important for a young brand who maybe is about to pitch to you? Like, will you talk to brands without a trademark?
Yes. I mean, essentially that, there's a new way of doing the international business with China, especially for clean beauty. It's what we call cross-border. You do not need, it's not required legitimately, and you need a trademark to be registered for cross-border business. But just like I said, for doing protect your brand's authenticities and as well as your DNA, we still strongly recommended you to register with a trademark in China. So that way, in the long run, we are talking about not just a short-term strategy, but in the long-term strategy that in the long run, it's, half the brands and half the products and to be protected in both of the brand suite as well as the product formulas and everything else, and just making sure that you are who you are in yourself, officially engaging to China completely.
What would you tell young brands who maybe feel like selling into China is overwhelming or they don't really know where to start? What kind of misconceptions do people have about selling into that market?
So I think stereotype that everybody just think that, oh, you're getting to China, I need to have entity in China, or I need to find some agencies in Hong Kong, and which nowadays in the 21st century, or at least in this 5 years, everything actually has been changing to China's cross-border e-commerce, where the cross-border e-commerce essentially is another escalating of the scale up for the e-commerce. And on top of that, because I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that, in China, lots of the commerce business actually conducted over on the mobile side. 95% is on the mobile side, and then the other 5% is on the PC side. So, which means, lots of the vertical markets, micro applications or mini programs has been well developed in China as well. So I think it fits more essentially and more preaching to the choir, adapting to the younger generations as well, and which that's what the younger brands' opportunities are.
This next one is for Mary. COS has such an amazing range of products that could be classified into a whole lot of different categories. What degree is consumer input factored into your buying process, and how is it done?
Yeah,
Yeah, so at Cosbar, I think we are really fortunate to have a great relationship with our clients. So all of our store managers have, their list of top customers, and we actually receive a lot of feedback from those clients, through our store managers. And so when we are looking for the next big brand, it's really great that we have these clients that are already kind of in our ears telling us, oh, we would love to see this brand in your stores. And kind of we get to feel the pulse a little bit that way. So we definitely take it into account. We also try to just stay on top of social media, like how our customers engage with us through our social media posts. But I think we're really unique in that we can actually have a really great back and forth with our customers that we know will already have interest in a product that we're thinking about bringing on.
Wow. All right, so for this one, so we obviously all spoke before this briefly last week, and I think that one of the big things that everyone kind of had a really distinct POV on is packaging. So I'm going to kind of go down the line here, and I'd love for each of you to sort of share what message you have to the people in this audience about packaging.
For those of you who don't know, Violet Grey has a community called the Violet Code that basically is a panel of people in the industry who are vetting and approving products. And so the products that come to them through either via the retail store or the beauty director, they are actually having to go through a rigorous, kind of down the line of what, does it work? Does it say that? Does it do what it says it's going to do? And one of the things is that the packaging has to be presentable. And we're all about hashtag Violet Vanities, like shelfies. It has such an impact on, whether or not you're going to want to buy this. I mean, it's pretty impactful, pretty important.
Is there anything specific that sort of makes like pretty packaging, or is it sort of just like a gut feeling when you see it? Like, what do they have in common?
I think it's a gut feeling when you see it. I mean, obviously, does it do what it says it's going to do is I think the most important. But yeah, I think it's really a gut thing. It doesn't have a specific look or style, but it's a gut thing.
Yeah, so I think, Cosbar, we are a luxury retailer, and so packaging is to us the very first impression that a customer has about your brand, and it's the first impression that we see as buyers when, a brand sends us their products, to kind of just see if it's up to par with like the rest of our offering. So having a really great packaging, making sure it looks luxury and it's something that our customer will want to see on their vanity, as mentioned, is really important to us because our customers look for that luxury and specialty experience, and the packaging plays a really big role in that as well. So I definitely think it's super key to make sure not just the ingredients of your product are super high quality, but your packaging and the whole feel of your product go along with your product as well.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. Being online, that's your first opportunity to interact with our customer. She's scrolling through thousands of products on a page, and it needs to jump out. It needs to be something she's like, okay, what is this? I'm interested. And I think part of that, too, is something we deal with is product names, even on the packaging, not being very clear about what it is. Because I think, the customer has a really short attention span when she's shopping online. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I think for China, everybody's question will probably back to, do you have to change your packaging into Chinese, or is there any of different labels? The quick answer for that is it's no longer the case. I mean, if you would like to register into China's entity, yes, it's still, you have to translate everything, the packaging, everything into Chinese. But when it comes to the new international businesses, actually what we call cross-border, it's no longer the case. So, which means that the brand can be able to keep your original packaging as whatever it is, that is what we're selling here in North America, and as well as that you don't have to change any of the design, everything. We want everything, or at least for the Chinese consumer, the younger generations would like to purchase as what it is originally, what is being made.
So we have two things that pretty packaging is always just and the norm. It's a standard. But as we go into 2020, especially sustainability. So there's nothing more frustrating than getting a box that has a box inside that has 3 more pieces of paper inside of it. So something to think about. It's not a deal breaker, but sustainable packaging is definitely the wave of the future, and it catches our eye a lot quicker. And just a note to anyone that, as you're building your brand, has any notion that somewhere down the line you might want to be sold outside of the United States, not speaking for Asia, but in Canada, we have 3 stores in Canada. It is required that French labeling is on the packaging. So before you do a run of, let's say, 50,000 units of a cleanser tube, if you eventually want your cleanser to be sold in Canada or the EU, you might as well just start there and get used to having French on the packaging.
So classy. Does anyone have any packaging pet peeves that you gotta just call out?
I would say agreeing with her with sustainability. There's nothing more frustrating when we're all sitting around the table and we have to unpack, and then we have to throw it all away. So just being really mindful of that as we go into, just being more aware of the footprint.
As an editor, that's also a huge pet peeve and something that editors all talk about offline, which is you get a small little lip scrub in a box, with crinkle paper and metallic, confetti or whatever, and it's not cute. Yeah, it's not appealing. Any packaging pet peeve?
Yeah, I'd have to say when you are looking at a product that's glass and there's not enough protection around that item, it's definitely something that we consider whether or not we're going to bring that item on, because we do tend to have damages, if there's not enough protective packaging around the glass bottle, and then down the road that just kind of becomes a headache for both sides. So I think just making sure that when you are packaging something with glass that you have enough protection around it so it doesn't break.
Do you have, I think that maybe some brands might think that glass would be a better choice just because it's more eco-friendly than plastic. Do you have a preference on glass plastic?
I personally prefer glass, and I think in the retail space that Cosbar is in, glass just feels a little bit more elevated, and it is eco-friendly, which is a plus.
When you receive a package from a young brand and they have a glass package, how do you want it wrapped?
I'm sorry, what's the last?
How do you want it wrapped? How would it ideally arrive to you?
Yeah, I know you guys are kind of mentioning you don't like boxes within a box, but I think for fragrances to have, sometimes there has to be an inner carton to protect the glass within the carton, but just as a as a procedure to protect the item, not as just a cute little insert, just to add more paper.
Cool. Packaging pet peeves?
I think kind of not to contradict the sustainability piece, but I think a lot of times when brands are trying to be really sustainable, it can start to feel really granola and less elevated. And I think, if you're looking to be in any of the doors of the brand sitting up here, we do need it to be elevated as well.
Shelfie. Cool. All right, so let's see here. What is next? Ooh, okay, so Mary, I'm going to come back to you. What key metrics are guiding your decision-making process?
Yeah, so some key metrics that we look at are, obviously kind of the basics like margin and just seeing if that relationship is there with that brand. Also, we look at points of distribution. So Cosbar, we really strive to be a specialty niche type of retailer. So if we see, this brand is sold in kind of a more mass atmosphere, we'll kind of take that into account and maybe reconsider or see if we can partner with that brand to kind of do a special one-off line for us. But yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things to consider is point of distribution. Also seeing if they can partner with us not only for the sale, but through the life of the product. So our store managers work really closely with the brand reps, and since Cosbar is such a brick and mortar heavy retailer, we really need that in-store presence from our brands. So just knowing ahead of time that our brands can commit to that and that they'll follow through is a really big deciding factor for us as well.
Cool. And then Kandice, same question. What key metrics are you looking at? Wait. Oh, sorry, Candice.
I mean, same thing. I think the distribution is huge for us. I know a conversation that I feel like comes up a lot with brands is the Amazon piece and selling to Amazon. And I personally don't see it as a bad thing, because I also know as a small brand, they offer you protection from gray market and products, ending up on the website that shouldn't be. So, I mean, distribution is important, but I also think then, we have to trust ourselves as being the place that a customer is going to buy those products, and it's on us to have them come back to us.
So I'm going to go to Elena now. The clean beauty world is incredibly saturated, to put it lightly. How does a brand stand out?
I don't take it as a bad sign that the clean beauty market is saturated. I think that means that everyone's joining the movement. But there are a lot of false claims. There's a lot of greenwashing out there. Just because something's paraben-free and sulfate-free doesn't make it clean. But really, for a brand that truly wants to be a clean brand, from root to stem, I would say know your brand. You have to have the passion to know every single ingredient in your product. There's nothing more frustrating than when you're asking somebody why they put something in and they can't answer why they put an ingredient in over another ingredient. Just knowing how you fit in the market. We get on average 3 submissions a day cold. We get close to 1,000 submissions a year, blind submissions. Everyone says they're clean, which is great, but then you also have to know how you fit into our assortment and our shelf, and not every brand makes it. So rather than trying to be all things to all people, really zero in on what you're trying to achieve with your product and your brand.
Cool. Allison, I'm going to take this one to you as well. Clean and luxury. What are you guys looking for in that world?
Because of how many products we have and how many brands and the curation part of it, we really have a little of everything. So we are looking for a clean brand that, once again, passes the Violet Code. Luxury brands that pass the Violet Code. It really is specific to what the product is and what it is supposed to do. I think that's the most important. So it could be a luxury brand that is the best anti-aging, in this kind of arena, or it could be a clean brand that is the best at what it says it does in that arena. So I think it has to do with really what the arena is.
So efficacy is top priority. Cool. All right, so I'm really excited to ask this one because I'm very curious as well. So I'm going to go down the line, or whoever wants to start can start. But what habits and strategies do the most successful beauty brands that you work with sort of all have in common?
For us, I really feel like it is the power of influence. The brands, well, 2 things. The power of influence, whether it is you're depending on Violet Grey for that power, the influence of Hollywood beauty and the best of the best in the industry is saying, okay, this is the best anti-aging or the best, bronzer or whatever. Really kind of determining what your influence is. So if you're an oral care brand, are all the top dentists, using your line or promoting it on social media, even if it's a group of people on social media that is a niche group that you can really pinpoint and say, hey, this is my community of influencers. I think that's really important to pin down. Also that it is, I lost my train of thought. I would say that would be the most important
I think that's good.
thing.
So it's like
the power.
Influence for the masses is great, but for you guys, it's more about influencing the people who are like tastemakers in that world.
Absolutely. And then, the other 2 things are basically picking a lane and sticking to it. So the 2 products that come to mind at Violet Grey are Augustina's Botter and maybe like a Vintner's Daughter, who they only have, the one product. Who really, they really stuck to that product and maintained the efficacy of that product, and that's what they're known for, and that's, how they really grew.
That's great advice.
Yeah, and then so for Cosbar, as I mentioned before, we are very brick and mortar heavy, and so having a brand that really partners with us in all aspects of the business. So having that touch point in the stores and having maybe an AE or a rep there to kind of educate the store team on how to sell the products, how to interact with the customers, do mini facials, things that will bring customers in to experience the brand on another level, and also partnering with us on a corporate level. When we have marketing initiatives and brands that feel like true partners to us. Not just on a corporate level, but in the stores, in marketing, on social media. Those are the brands that do the best for us and that our customers keep coming back for because they are offering that specialty luxury experience along with Cosbar.
Do a lot of brands come in and do those in-store little pop-ups?
Yeah, we have a lot of events in our stores, Clay to Post, Sicily. There's some of our top brands that they'll do events, they'll book it through our stores and have their top clients come in, do a facial or a little makeup makeover, have private parties. We're really all about clienteling and making the clients feel really special whenever they walk into our store. And so our brands that kind of do that along with us are really, really successful.
Do you find that the brands that come in and do those little pop-ups and installations and stuff, does that sort of move the dial for sales for that day as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a huge factor. Yeah.
Candice?
I think kind of going back to what Allison was saying, I think knowing who you are as a brand is huge, and everyone's doing influencer marketing at this point, but I think making sure you're partnering with the right influencers that feel authentic and genuine and really connect with your brand is so important, because it's pretty transparent when it's obviously paid and the person promoting it doesn't believe in the product. So I think that's really huge.
Do you ever have brands that partner with influencers that you feel like aren't good, and then how do you does that impact your relationship with them?
I think too, the interesting thing with the influencer market right now is that you have all these huge influencers with multi-million followings, but then you also have the smaller micro influencers who I think in a lot of ways are more influential at this point because they're interacting more with their customer. And I think for us too, we love to promote our brands and help them partner with influencers. We actually send out monthly boxes to 250 influencers of products that are sold on the site to help get it in the hands of people who are really going to help impact not only our sales, but also the brand.
And how does a brand get into that box that you seed?
So we curate them every month. We have a different theme, and based on what we have coming up, we'll reach out and partner on either new launches that are exciting we want to talk about, or some of the best sellers.
That's so cool. And then who pays for the product in those 250 boxes?
So the brands send the product to us, they comp the product, and then we handle sending it out to all the influencers.
Cool. Okay, cool. Jackie?
Yeah, I'm going to affidavit for that. In China, KOL, or what we call the key opinion leaders, which is the influencers as well, has made a huge impact to the society and also the shoppers' behavior as well. And not only that, lots of the influencers are also fully utilizing those mobile apps such as TikTok that probably everybody knows about. The short video apps has been up on and embedded directly onto back to the Tmall Global or Alibaba's website. And that's for one. And on top of that, there's I think for the clean beauty or for the smaller brands or younger brands, incubations about the the brand awareness properly. Not only just from the bloggers, not only from the influencers' perspective, but from a bloggers or bloggers' perspective, that they also write lots of the articles or diaries regarding about what your product's like and what their users' opinions or feedbacks about afterwards. What they want to be able to share with their peers or their colleagues or the community on the app as well. So I would say there are two brands that I've actually successfully launched by myself personally. One is the clean beauty skin products. It's called Pharmacy. I'm pretty sure probably everybody knows who they are. They've done a great job working with us in incubations, starting from small and then talking about their products among all the community, and as well as that we also plan with them when to launch their products and then when to actually fully utilizing the influencers on all different kind of channels and media of ours as well. And the other one, I'm not sure everybody knows, but Fenty Beauty has also launching with us just about a month ago, and that actually utilized every single one of the outlets that we can. And especially, I think the most phenomenal part, the reason why everybody would like to utilize this is because our fan base is not only just at the Tmall site, but we fully utilize on the Alibaba's algorithm and also the ecosystem, which is appealing to up to 860 million plus and minus of the monthly active users. And that's why lots of the brands would like to just say, hey, is it possible that we can actually apply with you guys, and is there anything that we can be able to work with you guys?
Awesome. Cool. Elena?
Communication and education are the cornerstones of what make great relationships with us. Education of not only the outside and the customer community, but as well as the team members coming into our customer service team fields all kinds of questions. They're actually .com is our biggest door. So to get the customer service team up and running and really believing in your brand, as well as the consumer. Communication, we had talked about this last week on the phone. It doesn't just stop once the contract's signed and the products are on the shelf. We want really engaged brands and partners. It's a marriage, pretty much. We're entering into a marriage with you. And as our priest said when he married me 20 years ago, the grass is greener where it's watered, so it's a constant nurturing of the relationship. We want partners to be partners and come to us with ideas, not just being reliant on us to push a brand, but to come and say, hey, why don't we do this? And if this isn't working, let's change it, not how are you going to change it? So it's a two-way relationship. Influencers, we see it with influencers as well. The brands that, the most successful brands go all in. We can go to them and say, we're doing this event, do you want to participate? Do you want to see to these people? They're all in all the time.
Awesome. In a perfect world, how often are you communicating with a brand that you bring in and is new?
When they're new, I would say at least monthly, if not bi-monthly. We definitely want to talk. We do have 150 brands, and we're a small and scrappy team, so our email boxes get full and our phone conversations get long. But yeah, at least monthly, quarterly for bigger brands as far as looking at sales, looking at data, looking at marketing, and seeing how we can pivot and grow. There's smaller conversations that happen along the way. Most of my brands have my cell phone. I get texts with little random questions, and I try to answer them as succinctly and quickly as possible. And then you have the bigger meetings and the strategy meetings. But the worst thing is when you have a brand that you launch and then you try to contact them to plan some things, and you never hear from them again for 6 months later.
What?
Yeah, it happens.
That's weird. Okay, so I'm going to open this up for a Q&A in just a second here, but any kind of last tips that you guys have for brands that want to communicate with you starting today, that you maybe are going to meet today?
I would say that one of the things that works for brands who want to be with Violet Grey is exclusivity. It's totally the track record for a brand who's exclusively with us for a time period where we can really make that brand really important and shine. It's been evident that it's very successful to do that.
Cool. Any other communication tips or tips for anyone you're meeting potentially today?
I just want to remind everyone here is that China is actually no longer a mystery, and there's lots of opportunities actually being provided and open to the clean products and clean brands and younger brands as well. So don't be afraid. Talk to us, and then we're always here to help.
I'd like to say, be patient. Some brands that we've launched this year, we started the conversation a year ago at this time. It's just nurturing that relationship. We genuinely mean it when we say, please keep us posted on your brand's whereabouts and successes and developments. We're beauty lovers and we're beauty junkies. We love to talk about ingredients and formulations and what's coming down the pipeline. So if you ever need a crash test dummy, we're happy to try it and give feedback. It doesn't necessarily mean that we will launch tomorrow, but it does, it opens the door for future possibilities. I think we're all on this stage because we love what we do and we love what you do and the products that you make. So yeah, just passion and persistence.
I would definitely have to agree with Elena there. Just being patient, especially now during the holidays, it's such a crazy time for everyone. And when we're receiving inbounds from other brands, we let them know like, hey, right now may not be the best time, but maybe 2020 you could reach back out and just keep in mind that they're not kind of pushing you off, but we really genuinely are interested, and feel free to reach back out. And I think that is also a really important factor is if maybe right now it's not working, check back another 6 months or a year from now, and the landscape could be different. We could be looking for what you're offering, and also just make sure you communicate what is different about your brand, because we're pitched so many brands all the time that we really are looking for the differentiator of your brand and what makes you special. So I think that's a really great thing to communicate just right off the bat to make sure that you catch the buyer's eye.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with Mary more. I think, we're inundated with products all of the time, and I think when we say no and again, keep in touch, I know we mean it. We all want the same thing. We all want strong, healthy businesses. So if we don't feel that right now is the time, it doesn't mean it's not going to be the time down the road, but be patient because we want your brand to succeed.
We all have the same goal. Okay, so I'm going to open this up to Q&A. If anyone has any questions, we have about 3 minutes, so we can take a couple. Anybody questions? Question? Thank you. Right in the back. All right.
Mic check.
Hey, thanks. Really appreciated the panel and all of your guys' wisdom. I'm curious, for those of you who also carry wellness products, how you think of positioning and what you're sort of looking for in terms of how the wellness products that you carry support the beauty products and your overall mission.
Good question. Wellness.
I'll take this to start. Health is the new wealth. We all know that. And wellness, it is, the saying used to be, beauty's only skin deep. That's so far from the truth. Beauty starts from within. All of the wellness brands here have a very important place within the beauty industry. Taking care of your gut, could go on about gut health, but taking care of what you're putting inside your body definitely reflects in your overall skin, hair health.
I think for us, the wellness brands that position themselves as being a beauty brand, in the sense that, what you're putting into your body is, again, reflecting on, your skin. So I think that's something that we look for is, the customer wants that result. She wants a glowing skin. She wants to look great.
Wellness packaged for beauty. Cool. Anyone else? Wellness tips?
Yeah, wellness is beauty. It's growing in so many ways, everything from CBD to even sexual wellness. Violet Gray is definitely a spearhead on that arena.
Cool. What are you looking for sexual wellness? What kind of stuff?
Everything from, LV, which is a Kegel exerciser. We have Crave, which is a vibrator. Sexual wellness, taking care of your self-care.
You heard it here first. Okay, cool. Any more questions?
Oh, I've got one.
Front?
Sorry. Hey guys, can you speak specifically about margins you're looking to target when you're bringing on new brands? Like the retail margins. Sorry, I'm here.
I'm like, where is she? Targets? Wait, can you repeat
It's
the
a
question?
case-by-case basis, but
It's definitely a conversation.
Yeah, more of a conversation.
Yeah, it's definitely an important conversation, but I think just keeping in mind that what the retailer is asking for is truly what they're looking for. And if, for whatever reason, you can't make that happen, like trying to supplement with other things to help make it work for both sides. So like covering shipping or like marketing, things like that can always like be a factor when margin is like a tough subject.
Cool. We probably have time for like 2 more quick ones. We have 2 more right here. We'll get you next.
Allison just touched on this, but I have an organic breast enhancement oil, and I've noticed in the 2 years since we started, definitely an upswing and a trend in sexual wellness products. How do the rest of you feel about that? Do your stores carry those? Like, is that something that you've also noticed is trending? And if so, why do you think that is all of a sudden?
Sexual wellness.
We carry, we call it intimate care is the name of our section. We don't talk about it a ton because I think there's the gray area. You know, we have a huge range in age for our customers, but I think for us, I think the reason the customer gravitates to it, and it does really well, is because there's that safety of buying it from a retailer that you trust either for beauty or for us like fashion, rather than having to go into a sex shop or, you know, and I think a lot of those kind of stores have that male gaze feel about it, and I think we're able to do it in a way that feels women focused.
Sexual wellness for ladies by ladies.
Agreed. We carry a brand. We carry several women's health, and we recently launched Rosebud Woman, which is a women's sexual health brand. There's actually some great brands here today focusing on that. Again, it just goes back to overall well-being. Helps make you more radiant inside and out. So sexual health is definitely a key factor in that, and it is white space that is quickly being filled, which is exciting to see.
All right, I'm getting cut off. I'm so sorry. Thank you guys all so much for being here.
Thank you.
Great. All right. Thank you. Thanks for coming.